Gentile civil service friend one day said to me, "Mark, don't be a schmuck. Think of a place you'd like to live. You ordinarily could not get to live there. Then see if they might have a program that is suitable." His name was Dick Duncan. I said, "Dick, you're right. I'm going to Hawaii." And now I'm backtracking to 1964, right before I got my undergrad. There was one professor with whom I had particularly bonded, and he was in the human engineering area. One day he said to me, "Mark, when you go off to grad school, someday somebody's going to be out to get you. Don't let them. But now we get to Hawaii, and you're randomly given a major professor." My major professor was Dr. Carl Minke. Carl spelt with a K, not a C. He was very Germanic, and he was proud of being anti-military. And here I am, a Jewish guy who was active duty military. Beginning of the second semester, one day he called me into his office and he said, "Mark, I don't think you're going to make it." Sound familiar? You can bang your head against the wall for a while if you want, and then flunk out. Or I suggest you just pack up and go home. Now, this was 1971. I remember the words from my professor in '64. So I said, "Let me think about it, and I'll get back to you in a day or so." I did, and I told him that I think I'm going to make it. I'm going to work hard, and I'm going to do it. At which point he said, "I have nothing further to say to you until after I speak with the chairman of the department, Dr. Ron Johnson." And again, I had no relationship with Dr. Johnson. I was the beginning of my second semester in Hawaii, and there was just no cause for interaction. I went right to his office. I said, "Sir, do you have a few minutes?" He said, "Yes." I told him the conversation. I said, "Okay, Dr. Johnson, where do you stand?" And he said, "I will never expel any student because any member or group of members of the faculty think that person is not going to make it. If you don't make it on your own, that's one thing, but we accepted you, and you've got a home until you fail." There was this other professor who taught social psychology that somehow we interacted and we bonded, ironically over computers. And as soon as that happened, I went to Dr. Mike Murray, and I said, "Here's what happened in the discussion with Dr. Johnson. Will you be my new advisor?" And he said, "Yeah, gladly." A couple of weeks later, he told me that he found out that Dr. Minke had gone around talking to other faculty members, discouraging them from agreeing to serve on my dissertation committee. If I could not get a committee of 5, including one outside of the department member, I have flunked one of the requirements, get a committee of 5. He said, fortunately, he found out about it early enough and was able to squash it. Then Dr. Minke went to the dean of the graduate school and tried to get him to throw me out. Instead, he got thrown out of the office. Towards the very end of the degree requirements, a set of examinations called prelims, some places call them comps. Essentially, it's a field like statistics and methodology, where you've got about a 3 or 4 hour examination. Anything in the field is fair game. The person who wrote and graded the exam for statistics and methodology was Dr. Carl Menke. Because I was getting my degree, and we created a new subdepartment because there wasn't a such thing as computer psychology. But because of the degree that I was seeking, I had to take that prelim exam. There was one question where I, after doing all the calculations and derive the equations, the whole bit, and I said A instead of B, that was the one and only point he could take off on the entire exam. And it killed him, but he had to give me an A minus. So anti-Semitism and the military, unfortunately, to some extent, do go hand in hand. There are those who are enlightened and those who are not.